We've got another stand-in for this afternoon. Linda Doherty, the Deputy Associate Administrator for PHMSA, sends her regrets. She ended up ill at the last minute. But luckily, Chris Hoidal, the Western Regional Director, is standing in and is going to pretend that he's Linda.
Yeah, luckily.
We need the slides.
Hey, can I throw my stuff down here?
Yeah, I'll move. You can use it.
Can you hear me? All right. I'm going to have to use a lot of handwritten notes and stuff, so if my presentation is a little stilted, I apologize. Again, I am the Western Region Director for the Office of Pipeline Safety. For those in the other session, I've known Carl for 17 years now, and this is actually the first time I've been to the Pipeline Safety Show, so thank you very much. So Carl asked us to speak to a few different topics, third-party inspectors, external advisory panels, and the PHMSA performance metrics. There's a lot to say on all three efforts, and I can only cover so much in 15 minutes. You heard from Jim and Sue on their efforts, and I was very intrigued by a lot of Sue's experiences. But we'll get back to that later. I'd like to share some thoughts on our issues that we're going to be talking about. Now, we do use third parties to make sure we're able to thoroughly carry out our safety oversight responsibilities. Sometimes we need additional eyes and ears on construction projects, and we contract with Oak Ridge National Laboratories or their subcontractors to work with our regional staff to assist us. The people they supply work side by side with our engineers. You're probably aware of many construction projects where you'll see Oak Ridge National Laboratory engineers out there. Usually, since we're building these things in multiple segments or spreads, we try to leverage those resources to help us get the job done. We also use third-party experts to provide subject matter expertise for specific projects. We've used them for welding, land movement analysis, river crossings, metallurgical examination, and inline inspection data analysis. While we have federal staff that can do many of these things, these third-party experts can get into much more detail than we can, and also offer that, basically a third-party opinion. And actually, I see that being done from the industry side as well, so that's all good. Well, let's face it, we cover a lot of complex issues. We're kind of jack of all trades, and these third-party experts do come in handy. Early in the year, we just asked Oak Ridge to provide a top-tier expert on inline inspection data. We want to make sure that we were thoroughly understanding the results of some recent ILI runs. Matter of fact, we've used it twice. We did it on the Plain Santa Barbara spill and then the M Bridge crossing of the Mackinac Straits. I believe that some of those reports are actually posted on our websites for the one on the Mackinac Straits. I also should mention that these people we contract are experts in the field, but they are not federal enforcement officials. Sometimes we struggle with given their unsolicited opinions regarding compliance. Only the federal government can do that on the pipelines we regulate. They do serve as our eyes and ears, but they should be feeding the information back to us, not providing unsolicited compliance guidance to you guys or to the regulated entities. Let's talk about external advisory panels. Not all of our third-party expertise are contracted independent parties. We often seek the input of other subject matter experts. I'm referring specifically to the Hazardous Liquid and Natural Gas Advisory Committees known as the LPAC and GPAC. They are actually, they have to operate under strict rules of the Federal Advisory Committee Act. The representation of each committee is determined by law and is designed to provide a balanced viewpoint. The committees consider a number of issues, and their main responsibility is to consider our proposed regulations. I understand it's a very tedious responsibility. You frequently have to dig through hundreds of pages of regulatory documents and think through the potential impacts and values of each proposal. And then they get to come to a meeting and discuss it with their fellow committee members. Sounds like a lot of fun. So Carl and Sue, you're both members of I think Carl, you're on the liquid, you're on the liquid committee, and Sue, you're on the gas committee. So I really know that they value your input. But, seriously, we do appreciate all the time and effort our advisory committee members invest in helping make sure our regulations improve safety. Now, the newest thing, in the recent Pipes Act of 2016 that was just signed, Congress mandated the creation of a new FACA advisory panel. This group, like the LPAC and GPAC I just discussed, come with a list of who should be represented, including safety advocacy groups, research institutions, state officials, state inspectors, labor representatives, industry stakeholders, and us, PHMSA. And what's really intriguing is the focus of this advisory panel. I actually copied, Linda copied this straight from the Act of the Congressional Language. And I know there's a lot of text here, but I thought it was important to show the detail and thought behind this particular mandate. And item 1 is making sure that inline inspection vendors receive information about how well their inspection tools work. That is a direct outcome of numerous releases we had where ILIs were run, the right ILI tools were run, but it doesn't appear the vendor and the operator were totally communicating with sharing the information. What's really important is how can the industry and the vendors and the regulators share information that occurs during the actual inspection. Number 2 is about exchanging information to promote better technology, and 3 is about companies and vendor learning from each other's experiences. Now, items 4, 5, and 6 are about finding solutions to barriers to prevent companies and tool vendors from openly sharing information. Many times the data is marked as proprietary or confidential, and that acts as a barrier to sharing that information. The recommendations that this most recent advisory committee panel comes up with will be posted on a DOT website. Hopefully we can come up with innovative ways of solving these issues and sharing information, but I definitely think we'll have improvements to pipeline safety. All right, I'm trying to move along fast here, but I just do want to touch upon a few performance metrics. What I don't get through, I'll leave. They're in the slide pack, and they can be shared with the rest of the attendees, and you can peruse them at your own leisure. Blaine Keener, our data guru, has a regular pen pal relationship with Carl and Rebecca, I understand. So that's good.
He doesn't think so.
What?
He doesn't always think so.
Oh, he just needs a little love. Well, anyway, data helps us understand if our safety improvement efforts are working, and helps us figure out the trend lines that we're trying to get ahead of any emerging threats. Is our data perfect? No, but it's getting better. Here's what we like to put up, what we regulate. This is kind of our feel-good slide. It's a standard snapshot of what we in our PHMSA and our state partners regulate. It's obviously a pretty big charge, 482 operators, liquid operators, over 1,000 gas transmission operators, and God, over 1,300 gas distribution operators. So it's a pretty big charge. Granted, our state partners pick up a lot of that load, but we have a lot of that oversight as well. Okay, now this is Linda's favorite slide, so I got to get it up there. It shows that since 1988, while the U.S. population and pipeline mileage and gas petroleum product consumption has increased, the number of incidents resulting in death or injury and major spills has gone down. That in itself, though, we have to get off of, it's decreasing and it's a low frequency rate. Not until it goes to 0 will we actually be able to claim total success. This is a blown-up version of the downward trend of pipeline incidents with either death or injury. So it looks pretty good at face value. But this is the one that we're trying to get a better handle on and better understand. You see what's happening between 2006 and 2015. There appears to be an upward trend. There was another breakout session on why new pipelines are having a higher frequency of incidents. I think that may explain a lot of this flattening out or plateauing of what had been a decreasing not fatality rate, but a decreasing incident rate. So in this slide pack, we put down all these metrics of serious accidents, significant accidents. I just want to be clear, when we do analyze this information, that we do exclude fire first accidents. Those are where you have a house fire and, maybe your riser, the plastic in the riser melts and then it does release. So those have all been excluded. We break things down into two major categories: serious accidents where there's a fatality or injury requiring inpatient hospitalization, and then a significant, it's a bigger subset of that. It's basically whether there's an injury, fatality, or if there's a certain monetary damage or a certain volumetric release. So so these gas distribution performance measures are available on our website. I think you guys have noticed that you guys seem to be mining a lot of that information. These are measures and trend lines that can be viewed at any time that you wish at the attached website. And like I said, you guys will all get a copy of the slide pack. And this is the link for the gas distribution measures. Sorry, it's this one. I apologize. There's the gas distribution. There's also one for the gas transmission measures and the various trends you can view. Linda didn't include one for the liquid performance measures. I'm not sure whether it's done yet, Max? It's not yet? Okay, good. Thank you very much. But I know that is probably the next task they're going to get on. So you have one for gas distribution, one for gas transmission, and hopefully the hazardous liquid won't be up there shortly. In the slide pack, there's a lot of bonus slides. There's way too much. I know you guys are short on time, but yeah, there's another 20 pages of 20 pages, and
Let's see hands. Who wants to see the
no, I reshuffled things at the end. You have access to it. I didn't want to bore you to death with PowerPoints and charts, and somebody had a comment yesterday. You can torture the data to say anything.
Yep.
Who said that?
I don't remember who it was. I wrote it down.
I'm going to steal that. I'm going to steal that. I really like that.
Torture the data till it says what you want.
Torture the numbers, they'll tell you what you want.
Yes, well, you guys can torture these numbers as much as you want. There's a lot there. A lot good, some bad, but I just want to thank you very much. And I'm sorry Linda would have done a much better job, but you get what you get.